Just 1 month after suffering a heartbreaking loss in the semi-final of the 2019 World Cup, India embarked on a journey which started with 7 consecutive test wins. A journey that would bring them back to the very same country after 2 long years. A journey that will get them back to the same opponents from the World Cup semi-final to seek redemption by becoming the first ever team to win the World Test Championship. Hey guys, you're watching RCB 12th Man TV. This is the story, a brief one, of how India trumped adversities, heartbreaks, changes in qualification rules to be where they are today. This is the story of how India made it to the final of the ultimate test. India kicked off their campaign in style against the Windies with a 2-0 victory. In the first test, the experience of Jasprit Bumrah and Ishant Sharma were just too good. They picked up 5-wicket hauls and India beat Windies by 318 runs. In the second test match, a maiden test century for Hanuma Vihari and Jasprit Bumrah once again amongst the wickets, a 257-run victory. India picked up the full 120 points on offer. After thrashing the Windies in the Caribbean, back home, India hosted South Africa for 3 test matches. A Mayank Agarwal double century, back-to-back hundreds for the hitman Rohit Sharma, and exceptional bowling from Ravi Ashwin and Mohammad Shami meant that India were too good in the first test match. In the second, a Virat Kohli masterclass, 254 runs from the skipper's bat. India goes past 600 and they were just too good for South Africa. They made it 2-0. And in the final test match, it was the turn of the hitman Rohit Sharma to score a double century. Ajinkya Rahane chipped in with 102. The bowlers came together. They bundled out South Africa on both occasions and they made it 3-0. And India marched along, making it 5 in 5. India continued their winning streak by hosting Bangladesh for 2 test matches. In the first one, another double 100 from Mayank Agarwal and a collective effort from the bowlers helped India with a comfortable innings victory. In the second test, India's first ever pink ball test, and it was a field day for the bowlers, bundling out Bangladesh for nothing at all in the first innings. Virat Kohli came out with the bat. He scored 100, giving India a big lead, and another collapse in the second innings for Bangladesh meant that India made it 2 in 2. 7 matches into the WTC, India were yet to concede a point. Next up, it was time to travel to New Zealand. India's smooth sail found itself caught in the eye of the storm at the start of the new year. India's batting failed to reach 200 in either of the innings. Southee, Bolt and RCB's Kyle Jamieson were the chief tormentors, the Kiwis winning comprehensively by 10 wickets. In the second test, India showed signs of improvement, but a lack of fight in the second innings meant that the Kiwis would make it 2 in 2, and this series loss would come as a big blow for Team India later in the year. It was after this, right before India's tour to Australia, when the ICC made a change to the qualification criteria for the WTC, introducing a percentage of points. What this meant was that India would slip to the second spot on the points table, behind Australia with 75 percentage points. And then it was time for Team India to travel to Australia. It started with the Adelaide debacle, India folding for an embarrassing 36 runs, and with several senior names not available for the next 3 tests, India was staring into the dark. But what happened next will go down in history as one of the greatest comebacks. By displaying unthinkable resilience, India beat Australia in Melbourne by 8 wickets in the second test match. The highlights were Bumrah's 6 wickets and the stand-in captain's Rahane's 100. And in the third test, in Sydney, we got to see the gritty side of this Indian team, fighting from precarious situations to steal a draw. Hanuma Vihari and Ravi Ashwin consumed 300 deliveries together to deny Australia a lead in the series. And the last one at the Gabba was so legendary that it will be a part of folktales in the years to come. India were forced to field rookies who fought like seasoned campaigners. The match gave us a new Rishabh Pant who is destined for greater things. And on the last day, against all odds and expectations, India hunted down the target of 328 with 3 wickets in hand. But despite this glorious tour, they were still not assured of a place in the final. And it was time for India's final series against England at home. By then, New Zealand were already in the final, with Australia having cancelled their South Africa tour. In the 4-match test series, Virat Kohli's men needed to beat England, not just beat them, but win by at least 2 tests. A loss in the first test in Chennai was the worst possible start, but centuries from Rohit Sharma and Ravi Ashwin in the second test helped them regroup to level the series. And in the third one, Akshar Patel bagged 11 wickets to crush the English Models. Heading into the final test match, India needed just a draw to book their spot in the WTC final. But that is not how this Indian team has approached any match under the leadership of Virat Kohli. And so they thrashed England once again, this time by an innings and 25 runs. Akshar Patel once again picked up 9 wickets in the game. India ended up as WTC table toppers and, more importantly, booked a flight to England for the grand finale.